Hey game pals, it's your favorite failed Spelunky speedrunner and Sanic Ball connoisseur here to tell you how to speedrun Noid 2 Game of the Year Edition. Now, before we get into this fantastic guide that was very high effort properly, I'm gonna need to teach you about a bunch of tech that I totally didn't record like an hour ago, and this is just shoehorned in at the start because I forgot to add an intro. Alright, so arguably the most important tech in this entire run is text storage. Essentially it works because once you talk to something, it sets your character to the talk state, which disables all inputs aside from those that affect the text. But by dying while you're in that state, it actually overrides it and gives you full control over your character. Now, what you saw there was me jumping at him while holding my talk key, which is shift for comfort. Normally that would let you talk as soon as you get into range, but I kind of forgot that once you do that once, you can't do it again until you do something. I'm not really sure what causes that, but, you know, in an actual run you can just hold it. Anyway, once you die and reset your state to the normal one, then if you hold the talk button, then you can move around completely freely. So holding down the talk one prevents you from advancing it at all. This allows you to move around completely while not actually doing anything, which is why you want to keep your talk button on something comfy. So the application for text storage in this run isn't necessarily tech in and of itself, but it's important to teach anyway in case you want to practice it. Basically, what you want to do is you want to take text storage on the last text box to Pleasant it. Then you want to open the pizza box as soon as you enter, and for whatever reason, if you walk off the left side of the lid, it teleports you straight to the core if you close the text box. Now, the position you get warped to is actually dependent on how high or low you are on the lid. The lower you are, the better, because it puts you closer to the green key. Probably the second most important tech in this game is tether boosting. Basically, you want to grab onto anything at all, and then as soon as you let go of it, you want to jump. It's a bit awkward to get used to since you'd expect it to happen when you grab on or something, but it's as soon as the yo-yo stops making contact with whatever you're grabbing. So flings probably used to be the most important thing in this run, but since have kind of fallen off in usefulness because a lot of new advancements have been made in Game of the Year, although they're still fairly useful in Legacy, I believe, but I don't care about that game because it's trash, so whatever. Basically, they work because all these things that you can grapple have a specific range that you're supposed to be in for it, but if you fall off of that, then it very quickly pulls you back to that range. So if you fall really far and then grapple, it gives you a lot of speed. When you fling, you generally want to let go of any movement direction because that'll start setting your speed to whatever it's supposed to be and that'll slow you down. So New York is actually pretty straightforward. You just have to platform relatively well, especially so near the beginning, where you want to avoid ledge grabs if possible, because if you don't avoid any ledge grabs, then you won't be able to make it to this platform in time. And if you die that early, then it's basically over. Once you get over to these containers, I suppose, you want to just jump around that so you can get over here faster. And then I don't think movement here matters all that much. This might be slightly faster, but, you know, it doesn't really matter that much considering this whole thing's on a cycle. So yeah, that's really all there is to New York. It's not hard at all. Your goal time for it is less than 1 minute, but it's perfectly fine if you don't make that, because each boat cycle at the end is pretty short. So as soon as you come out of New York, you want to hold forward and then grapple onto this stop sign. From here though, you have two options. First is the easier one, where you just climb around this, and second is the one where you grapple onto the sign and then tether boost up to ledge grab, and that saves about 2.5 seconds, I believe. From there you want to just take a good line over to this pizza box. Usually you want to do a small jump across this gap, but it really doesn't matter all that much. Try and open the pizza box from as far away as possible so you can get a jump that's already on the way down by the time you actually reach it horizontally. Now, for Swing Factory, you want to just go over here as you would normally. But once you get over here, you want to tether boost up, and then immediately tether boost from this to get up here. Now, you want to grab onto this fence, stand here, and then wall jump between these to get onto this thing. And then you want to wall jump again to get on top and grab this immediately. There is another way to do that strat, where you go like wall jump up the corner by that brick wall, but it is insanely difficult in comparison, and it's slower, so there's literally no reason to do it. Alright, so once you get over here, you want to go up here, and then you have, again, two options. The first is to wall jump up here, and then do a wall jump like that, which is much easier, but you can also slightly save time by tether boosting here, and then wall jumping. It's not that much time, but it is a time save after all, and if you really get into this game, then it's probably worth doing. So immediately after the donuts, you want to set your spawn here, and then stay close to the edges of this to avoid setting it again. Talk to matey by jumping there, and then you'll spawn right near these hooks. It saves a little bit of time, but it's not that significant. If you want, you can just go there normally while setting your spawn, but it doesn't really matter that much. And then you just want to hold shift, or whatever your button is, to hold the text until the end of the level. And it's very important to re-press it after you complete a level, because otherwise if you start jumping and stuff, it'll act as if you weren't pressing it in the first place. It essentially resets your inputs on loads. So once you get into Domino Dungeon, you want to start by immediately wall jumping up here, and then doing another tricky wall jump to get over to this. Open this up, grab the key, and then you just proceed on. Once you get into this room, you want to jump onto that dice platform, and then immediately get up here so you can fling over here, and then activate this. Once you get the key, you want to use this grapple point to get up to this higher platform to activate a lever that activates another grapple point. Once these are activated, you just want to fling over to this purple door platform using this grapple point, and then get this red key. Now, this is where you choose to do arguably the hardest trick in the entire run, or lose probably about 10 to 15 seconds. So you want to set your camera to about a 45-degree angle looking outwards from this door, and that'll make it so that you can use the camera's distance from the Noid as an indication of where you are relative to the wall, since you can't really see that well because of the text. Now, for the actual jump, you want to use full jumps for each and every one. And basically you want to jump around that wall, start a little wall run, and then wall jump off to grab this ledge. If you do this very well, you don't even have to grab the ledge and you'll just land here, but, you know, it's kind of really difficult, so usually you're probably gonna grab the ledge or die if you're a pleb. Alternatively, once you grab the red key, you can just jump to this middle tower, then grapple onto this. And then from here you can just fling up to this other platform with another lever, which activates some more grapple points, which you can use to do the same thing that you did on the purple side door. Just fling over here with the red key and then you can open up the door. It's significantly slower than doing 2IQ, but it's also far easier, so I definitely recommend doing that if you're a beginner. Quick little piece of advice. While you're in loads, if you repeatedly dab, then it gives you a clear indication of when the load actually starts, which allows you to press shift as soon as you can during the Noid Void transition, because usually it just stays completely white and you can't really tell that easily. Now in Plizanit, again, you want to turn around immediately and then do the warp off of the pizza box lid. That'll bring you to the core, where you turn about 45 degrees to the left, grab the key, and then turn about maybe 15 to 20 degrees to the left again. So once you're about to land on the Noid Void, you want to hold left so that you land inside of this green tube, which allows you to get that key really fast. And then once you get out of there, you want to go to this chimney-like thing immediately. And then once you get that, just go left again, grab this key up here. Then once you get that, you want to get this. And then obviously the next one is going to be these little asteroids. And then you can just platform up these brown bricks and stuff to finish the level. There used to be 2 other applications of text storage on that level, but both of them are obsolete, so it doesn't really matter. They're also much harder in comparison, at least for the Noid, so it really isn't worth it. So the last little potential skip of the game is dab skip, where you can walk through this door if you aren't terrible. It's called dab skip because it's a meme, you don't actually have to dab, it doesn't change anything about it, but, you know, tricking new players into thinking that's the case is fun. The trick is exceedingly difficult though, so it's usually best to just open the door normally and go through. Trying it out once or twice doesn't lose that much time, but if you're trying to go for like a really optimized run, then it's really not worth it unless you're confident in doing it consistently. So at the start of Mike's lair, you just want to turn about 45 degrees here to jump over those small gaps, and then here you do something that's reminiscent of a fling and try and jump to preserve your momentum a little bit. Now, the one I did there was pretty poorly done, but it doesn't necessarily matter that much. The next thing you want to do to speed this up just slightly is to wall jump over here as normal, but then you can wall jump off of this wall and then transfer to the one right next to it, and then you can wall jump to this platform immediately. Grab onto this television and then wall jump from here to grapple this early. That's about all there is to Mike's lair, the rest is just down to practice with dice.